then had to set up the next one. Yeah.
Yeehaw.
Let's just say the girl quit smoking a mental good.
Vicky took care of it. Land Grassley.
Morning. I keep forgetting I'm not in front of the camera. Good morning. A little more mobile. Seems like walk around. Real there, so it's full.
With that on, you can go anywhere and we still hear you.
Yeah, that's right. Plus the people on the internet, like, I hear you wherever you go. I don't know what to tell you.
We should cardboard it.
But remember, eventually, she's gonna get a mounted camera that's gonna follow me. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I think it's very interesting. Before I begin here, how many people did we serve yesterday? 319 boxes. 319 families were fed through the Yuma Alliance Ministry, so that's awesome. It's out there. Thank everyone who volunteers. I want to give a special shout out to Rick, because Rick Fisher, he said it best. He saw that line and he said, there's no reason for me to sit in the car and wait. I'm just going to get out and help those guys so one more person can stay warm. So that's awesome that he did that. So we'll put all of our biases aside. I think that's what we're supposed to do in the season of Thanksgiving. So let's throw one up for Rick. Yeah. Well, you just got to put up with us. That's good stuff. That's right. Without that, we have nothing. The first time I told him I was docking his pay. Yeah, he was like, "We're getting paid." No, dude. It's a joke. It's a joke. But all right, we're in Isaiah chapter 29 today. And I'm going to start reading at verse 9 when I get there. Follow along because I might be making things up. Well, I would never do that. You never know. Stay yourselves in wonder. Cry ye out and cry. They are drunken, but not with wine. They stagger, but not with strong drink. For the Lord hath poured out among you the spirit of deep sleep, and hath closed your eyes, and prophets. Close your eyes, the prophets and your rulers, and seers have he covered. And the vision of all is become unto you the words of the book that is sealed, which men deliver to one that is learned, saying, read this, I pray thee. And he saith, I cannot, for it is sealed. And the book is delivered to him who is not learned, saying, read this, I pray thee. And he saith, I am not learned. Therefore the Lord said, for as much as the people draw near me with their mouth and with their lips do dishonor me, but have removed their heart far from me, and their fear toward me is taught by the presence of men. Therefore, behold, I will proceed to do marvelous works among these people, even a marvelous work and a wonder, for the wisdom of their wise men shall perish, and the understanding of the prudent men shall be hid. Woe unto to them that seek the deep to hide their counsel from the Lord, and the works are in the dark, and they say, who seeth us, and who knoweth us? Surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay. For shall the work say unto him that made it, he made me not? Or shall the thing framed say to him that framed it, he had no understanding? The word of God for the people of God. Dear Heavenly Father, Father, I ask that people see your word coming out of me, Father. It's in your son's name I pray this. Amen. Please be seated. No. In this passage, we're in the middle of Isaiah, kind of. And we're right in the middle of the woes in Isaiah. And to pitch woe is horrible. The worst thing you could possibly do to somebody is cast them woe back in the day. The first charge is that of a strong indictment. The people were spiritually insensitive. They hardened their hearts, although they were intending worship. They were in church, not listening. If you don't hear anything else that I have to say, that's the point. They're in church, they were not listening. They were only going through the motions and not focusing their minds upon the word. They were spiritually stupid. They were focused on their own personal interests and not on the whole. The example here is they were like drunk men staggering about, but not from wine, but from their own blindness of their own hearts. I've been that drunk before, staggering, not knowing what's going on. It's a rarity, but it has happened. So we've all either been there or we witnessed it ourselves. Somebody staggering drunk. These people, it's always funny, you can't say these people nowadays without offending somebody on the internet. These people that we're talking about will consider themselves good Christians. They went to the rich church. They wore the best clothes. They drive the nice cars. They had nice businesses. They were very upfront and giving the most money in front of somebody. Just going through the motions, but not spiritually listening to what was actually being said. Therefore, they were going to face God's judgment, God's perfect judgment. He would reap exactly, they would reap exactly what they sow. Closed ears, closed eyes, and hardened hearts, a deep spiritual sleep, shutting their minds and hearts to the Lord and his word. They would become even more blind and more hard-hearted. Hard-hearted. Insensitive. It's another way of saying it. Completely and totally insensitive to the things that they hear. Can I get everybody to turn and look at that kid? That's the example of exactly what I'm talking about right now. Completely out of it and have no idea what's going on. Not listening to the word, asleep. Spiritually inside, asleep. Now, I know myself, sometimes I just tone out. Someone's talking to me, I'm like, I don't even know what's going on. My mind wandered. These people have gone accustomed of only wandering. Oh, he's only going to be up there 20, 30 minutes. I'm just going to sit here and just kind of veg. Another example would be the kids that used to sit in that back pew over there. We know who they are. We won't embarrass them. Their mother would get angry at me. Sit right there. They got their phones out. They think we don't know, but we know. They're not listening to the sermon. They're listening to a cartoon. They're there only because they're made to be there. So spiritually, they've become very hardened, like these people have. Yeah, they're not listening. Take that jacket off, Jarrett. There you go. Wake up.
About 7 people went on, it's cool back here.
Well, I'm not in charge of you. Yeah, you got me by a few years. Yeah. But the more we close our hearts and our minds to the Lord, the more our minds and hearts become further away, become more closed. I know I've done it, decades done it, further and further and further away. We are creatures of conditioning. Sometimes we have blind eyes for things that are spiritual. The spiritual truth. Look at our society today. Right is wrong, wrong is right. People with a headset and a Bible preaching something that has nothing to do with the Bible whatsoever. Had a wonderful conversation with a woman. We were sat there and we always talk about scripture. We always talk about the Bible. We always talk about this and that. The subject came up of abortion. She was not on the same idea, same side I was biblically. I never would have guessed that in my entire life. She said it's no right for a man to tell a woman what to do with her body. That people should vote however they want to. I agree with that part, vote however you want to. But if you're pro-abortion and you're voting for a certain party or a certain politician who says they're going to kill babies, you're wrong. And I don't care what anybody else says. Abortion is murder. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. We allowed this into this country how many years ago? 50 or more years ago, right? And now look where we're at now. 9 states or 8 states have passed an abortion amendment saying the baby survives, we'll kill it anyway if the mother wishes. That's at 9 months. Anybody don't think killing a 9-month baby born one day is murder? I don't get it. 100% don't get it. But that's because we got so spiritually away from the Bible. We're doing our own thing. And when I say we, I'm always referring to everybody, not just the people that can hear my voice. But it is what it is. And that's exactly how it was in the people in Isaiah's day. If we sow the seed of spiritual blindness, we will reap more spiritual blindness. In the example I just used, that's exactly what happened. We started out here, and look where we led today. In my life, I will never forget those people in New York standing on TV, smiling, laughing, happy that they signed that bill. Fresh on TV, happy, yay, we did it. We beat the president who's there now, which means we can murder unborn babies for women's rights. 50% of those babies are women, just kind of throwing it out there. Got a little off sidetrack there. But if thine eye be evil, the whole body shall be full of darkness. If therefore the light that is in thee be darkness, how great is that darkness? Matthew 6:23. For the heart of this people is waxed gross, and their ears are dull of hearing, and their eyes have they closed. Lest they should see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, and understand with their heart, and should be converted, and I should heal them. Be not deceived. God is not mocked. For whosoever a man soweth, he shall also reap. For he that soweth to his flesh shall reap of his flesh, reap corruption. But he that soweth to the Spirit shall of the Spirit reap his life everlasting. Galatians 6, 7, and 8. The second thing here, I better get back over here for a second. Hi, guys. The second charge is even more shocking. The people were guilty of formal, routine, and hypocritical worship. It's the best way that I can describe it. A church split because of the color of the carpet. I want red, I want blue. 2 different denominations, 2 different churches formed because of that. True story. Over the color of the carpet. I don't know what it says in the Bible, but I've read it a few times. What color the carpet should be. Oh, wait a minute. They didn't have a floor. It was dirt. And this is exactly what happens. They were guilty of formal, routine, and hypocritical worship. I've met so many people who said, I stopped going to that Methodist church over there because of XYZ. And I listened, I just let them talk, especially when I first moved here. I stopped going to that church because of this, because of that. Then when you ask them what church they go to, none. They didn't get to quit this church and run over to our brother's church. They quit church, period. Some of them won't. We're just waiting for a reason to leave. I want to sleep in on Sunday. I want to watch football on Sunday. I want to go hunting. I want to go do this. I'm waiting for an excuse. They might not admit it or even say it out loud. But those same people, when XYZ was turned, have not reappeared in any church. They become further and further away from God, and they don't realize it. Now, I'm not trying to go up on a little rant, but I guess it's what I do. If you read the Bible, it'll tell you these things are going to happen in the latter times. People are going to run away, have itching ears, and listening to stuff that's non-biblical. The Bible is a pattern. It's a cycle of everything that happens. These people in Isaiah's time are being warned of the exact same thing right now. The passage says, read this to me. The part that really messes you up, he says, read this to me. You're the preacher. And he says, I can't. It's sealed. You can't read it. God forbade him from reading it. He can't read it because he's been reading it inaccurately for so many years and so many decades. They stopped him. Then he took the passage and said, hey, you took it to someone who can't read. You read it. He's like, I can't read it. Of course you can't read it because you've been taught nonsense all this time. You've been taught this for so many years and so many decades. I'm taking it away from you. Your ability to comprehend it. Do we not see that now? I say it a lot, twisted scripture. People will twist scripture to push their own agenda. And if it contradicts what's in the Bible, it's wrong. It's 100% wrong. I digress. They were professing to follow God and were attending worship regularly, but they did not walk true with God, with the Lord. They participated in ceremonies. They showed up. They were here. They did everything. They knew the Lord's Prayer. They know glory be to the Father. They know when to take the word and the light out. They knew when to bring it in. They were going through the motions. Their hearts were not pure towards God. They were honoring the Lord only with their lips, but their hearts were far from him. Their religious worship consisted of man-made rituals, ceremonies, and rules. They did not obey God's commandments or his instruction. They didn't obey his word. Because of their hypocrisy, they would face God's hand in judgment. Do you think we're going to face God's hand in judgment with things that are going on in this country, in this world? We're supposed to set the example for the world. Christians are. We're supposed to be a Christian nation. We're pretty far from that now. It's not too late. We can turn right back to God. Every single one of us. I don't see it happening. I think we're heading in the opposite direction of that. Far too much worship is routine, ritualistic, formal, and hypocrisy. I'm asking questions, don't answer. Don't answer. How many worshipers, how many of us are truly following the Lord and obeying his commandments? How many of us are living righteously? How many of us are daily seeking the Lord, studying his word, and trusting God? Many of us sit in the worship services with our mind elsewhere. Jim, this happens to me a lot of Bible study. I'll sit there and we've chased a rabbit in the opposite direction for a good 10 minutes. I'm sitting there not thinking, just trying to figure out how I'm going to reel us back into the subject we started on. I like chasing rabbits. Don't get that wrong. Sometimes chasing a rabbit is the Spirit leading us to where we need to go, whether we realize that or not. Many people just go through the motions of worship, participating in their rituals and their ceremonies. They walk out of worship services, they walk down the stairs, game on, I can go back to my life. I can check off, I went to church today, but nothing is sticking inside. And when nothing sticks inside and life gets hard, you have nothing to grasp onto. You don't have the word inside you. You don't have God inside you who helps you through your hard times. And that's the purpose of being here. Let's look at what the Bible says about the ox. We've said this many times. Not everyone that saith unto me, Lord, Lord, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven, but he that doeth the will of my Father which is in heaven. Many will say unto me, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in thy name? And in thy name cast out devils, and in thy name done many wonderful works, and then I will profess unto them, I never knew you. Depart from me, ye that work iniquity. Matthew 7:21-23. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees and hypocrites, for ye pay tithes of mint and anise and cumin, and have omitted the weightier matters of the law, judgment, mercy, and faith. These ought to have not done, and not to leave the others undone. Matthew 23:23. The scribes and Pharisees, they were donating their money. Great. But their hearts weren't in it. They were donating their money, but they weren't enforcing the law. They weren't preaching the gospel. They were preaching a watered down version of this for no reason. Going through the motions, playing the church. This know also that in the last days perilous times shall come, for men shall be lovers of themselves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, without natural perfection, truth breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good, despisers of those that are good, traitors, high-minded, lovers of pleasure more than lovers of God, having a form of godliness, but denying its power thereof. Such things turn away. I always like without natural perfection. It's very interesting term to look up. Without natural perfection. Doing things against God because it feels good. The third and final thing here, and I'll rant. It's kind of an eye-opener. The people were attempting to hide their behavior from God. We know God sees everything. Sees our innermost thoughts. You know, we're talking about our body. God hasn't been beaten 1,000 times. He can read our hearts while we're thinking. Some try to hide their sin from the public by committing their wickedness under the cover of darkness. Others did what they wanted, ignoring God and refusing to seek his counsel. Now, at this time, Babylon was fixing to invade Israel. So Israel decided, that's a divided kingdom. Israel decided they were going to go seek Egypt's help. They just decided themselves. They didn't pray to God and see what we should do. But we're going to make a peace treaty with another country and try to get some help instead of actually seeking God to see what we need to do. They were treating the potter as though he was the clay. treating the Creator as though he were a mere man. In an attempt to hide their evil behavior from the Lord is stupid. Isaiah is actually calling the people stupid and their leaders stupid for not seeking godly counsel. I always say this: for much is given, much will be required. And you don't realize it. I know everybody here does. Maybe not everyone here to sound my voice does. You live in this country, you are extremely blessed. Nobody's here monitoring what I say. No one's saying they're not giving me the Chinese Bible that's going to take out the gospel. No one's going to tell me this or that. I can sit here and preach right out the good book and have no issues whatsoever. Not everyone in the world has it like that. So we were given a lot. We were given a lot by God. He placed us in this country at this time for a reason, for his reason. He could have made us Chinese, or in one of those other countries, as Jim says, across the pond. But we didn't have the Bible. We didn't have the gospel. We have to fight to hide it. He didn't do that to us. He knew exactly where to place us and at what time to do it. That's a blessing. God is all present. He knows everything, and he knows when it's going to happen before it happens. Nothing can be done in secret or hidden. All, he sees all. And this is what God says from his word, the scripture. Luke chapter 12, verse 2. For there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, nothing hidden that shall not be known. The heavens shall reveal his iniquity, and the earth shall rise up against him. Job 20:27. Woe to you rebellious children, saith the Lord, that take counsel, but not of me. The cover with their covering the man. Think about it. They don't seek help from God. How many times have we heard people say, oh, such and such has died? All we can do now is pray. Well, that's the problem. We should be praying the entire time, not the last time. I'm not saying don't pray, but by all means do it. And it's mostly a non-believer. Well, there's nothing that we can do but pray. I found out yesterday that our cousin, second cousin of mine, found out she's got stage 4 breast cancer. She is the youngest of 5 kids. She is very young. Just got sick, went to the hospital. Done. These are good Christian family members of mine that are covered by the blood of Christ, so I'm not really too concerned. That will be done. She'll be in heaven somehow. Now her family, her younger children, that's a different story. They have to live with that. Their mother died young. I believe younger than 30. Right around. Yeah, just one of those things. It happens. Happens to, it rains on the just and the unjust. It's nothing to do. Before I get out of here, before I let us get out of here, something very interesting in this text. If I can turn this off without breaking it. Go to the Bible studies. Some of you are online, some of you are in person. That's awesome. I think Julie rarely misses online there. The reason why you should study the Bible. I'll give you an example. And it's in our text. Isaiah 29, verse 12. And the book is delivered to him that is not learned, saying, read this, I pray. And he said, I have not learned. Do you know what that is? A proof text for what religion uses that text of our Bible against us? Muhammad. Muslims use this text against Christians. And if they throw it in your face and you don't know where it's coming from, how do you defend it? They pull a verse out of context that says, I'm going to take the whole scripture to somebody who's not learned. And they say, well, that's wrong. No, you have to read the whole text to know what's going on. If you even read the very next verse, he says, you can't handle it because you don't know what's going on. The text before that says, I took it to your scholars. But they'll pull that verse right there and throw it right in your face to prove Islam. Wrong. Just pull the text out of context. I can pull a text out of context and say, don't eat pork. But bacon is good. As we understand, the whole Bible is a completed work. Let's pray. Somebody wake up here. Dear Heavenly Father, Father, I ask you to leave out of here that we're stronger Christians than what we were when we walked in. Father, we understand that we are not closet Christians. It's time for us to wear our Christianity on our sleeve. Let everybody see it. Let everyone see us and know immediately that man and woman is a Christian. They are covered by your Son, Father. They're covered by his blood. And it's time for us to stand up and let everybody know that. And it's in your Son's name I pray. Amen. Let's take the word and invite it out to the world.
The Lord Almighty God, bless and keep you forever. Grant you peace, perfect peace, courage and